you can say, the global language. Now, why English is taken as a global language? Why not some other language? So there are two answers to this question. The first one is the geographical historical locations, and the second one is the socio-cultural effects. So, if we looked at this geographical historical, we would have to go towards the history of this English language. Like in the past, the English language people and the speakers of this language, like if we looked at this point, so it's not only the majority, it is not only the large number of the speakers. It actually requires that the language would be a global language if the speakers of that language hold a geographical and a socio-cultural power over the rest of the world. So if we looked at this English speaking countries, or these English speakers, so they once colonized most parts of the world, like Asia, like Africa, and they were once their colonies. Like, so the if we looked at the geohistorical answer, so it actually shows that how English reached a position of preeminence. And you can say that if we looked the geography, we will look at the geographical location actually here. If we will look at the power they have, the speakers of the English language, they used to have, through which they colonize different areas of the world. So we can say that this historical account actually traces back to the movement of English around the world, beginning with the pioneering voyages to the Americas, Asias, and the antipodes. As I have told you, that the former in the previous centuries, we were the English speakers, they colonized America, Asia, and the antipodes, and they were their colonies. Like if we looked, so if this colonial development, so in the 19th century, Africa and the South Pacific, and it took this their colonial power, their colonial power took a significant step, and then it was adopted in the mid 20th century as an official or semi-official language by mainly new independent states. Like it was also the language of their colonies, but also the language of the independent states. And if we looked at the present situation, so English is now represented in every continent and in the islands of the three major oceans, like Atlantic, in Indian, and the Pacific. Like we can say that in most of the parts of the world it is used. It is this spread of representation which makes the application of the label, the global language, a reality. Like if we say that we don't have any global language, so it would be wrong, because we have noted we have studied in these previous points that a language can be a global language. Like in the coming days, in the coming time, we would be having a global language, as English is going to be the global language, because it is used in the as I have told you, it is used in the Atlantic, it is used in the Indian, and it is used in the Pacific oceans, and in major oceans, in the major three oceans of the world it is used. Like it is used in many parts of the world. Now the socio-cultural explanation actually looks at the way people all over the world in many walks of life have come to depend on English for their economic and social well-being. Like if you look, so it has become, this English language has become the if you look, so nowadays it is actually the language of the higher classes, the prestigious classes, and it is used in the economic sector of the world. So it is actually penetrated deeply, this language has penetrated deeply into the international domains of political, business, safety, communication, entertainment, the media, and the educational sectors of the other countries. Like if you take the example of our country, so English language is used in business, in the safety, in our communication, in our entertainment, in the media, and in the education sector. And it is not only used in our country, Pakistan, but it is also used in many other countries of the world. Like these are the the prominent domains of our life in which this language is used. So we can say that it has a special social and cultural role in our lives. So you can say that if English English is a global language, and because of the geographical spread, and because of its social and cultural roles in the in the different lives of the people. Now if we took the example of this geographical spread, so like we have studied this, the American history, in the American literature. So they usually some people moved from England towards the America, and then they were colonized by them, and they used they used the English language. America is actually a country of different races, of different people. So and they used English language for their communication. And you can say we can better explain it through the example of the South Asia. Like in our countries, once in the previous time, once we were colonized by them, and they brought their language with themselves, and this dominated as like it. And if we looked, so in terms of numbers of English speakers, the Indian subcontinent have a very special position. Like it will actually shows us that the number of the speakers of English language, like it is used by many people throughout the world. So Indian subcontinent has a very special position, probably outranking the combined tales of speakers in the USA and the UK, totals of the it actually outranking the combined totals of speakers in USA and UK. And this is largely due to a special position which the language has come to hold in India itself, where estimates have been undergoing radical revisions in recent years. Like and if we looked, so the traditional view was that somewhere between 3 and 5% of the people made regular use of English in our subcontinent, which would have yielded a total of some 30 to 50 million around the year in 1999. So in 1999, actually 30 to 50 million people, they used to use this English language. And when the population of it was the time when the population of India passed a billion. Like their population was in billion, so 30 to 50 million people, they used this language. In you can say this in real terms, this estimate present a range of 30 over to 33 million people who use this language. And we must not forget that there are also considerable numbers of English speakers elsewhere in the region. It would, as I've told you, this 30 to 50 million people are only there in the Indian subcontinent, and the rest of the world, they also use this English language. So there are also considerable numbers of English people elsewhere in the region, which comprises 5 other countries: Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bhutan. South Asia holds about a fifth of the world's population, and a majority of this population use English language. Several varieties of English have emerged throughout the subcontinent, and they are sometimes collectively referred to as South Asian English. Like this South Asian English is this, Indian English is this, Pakistani English is, and this Bengali English is. These are all the varieties in English languages, and we can say that a variety of something exists if it reaches, its peak point. So if a thing is it's is it's in its if a thing is at its peak, it's in the in its developmental stages. If a thing is in its peak, so it will have it would give rise to its varieties. So we can say that English is one of the English has this global status, and English is used as a global language because it has a lot, it has a large number of a large number of speakers in the world. And it has they have given this language a special status in their countries, and it holds a geographical and social cultural power over them. Now we can say that the present day world status of English is primarily due to the expansion of the British colonial power and the emergence of the United States as a leading economic power of the 20th century. We can say that a language, it's not only the number of the a large number of people or the speakers of a language would make the the language a global language. It If the speakers, it like we can say that there must be a large number of speakers for a language to become a global language, but those speakers must have some economic power. They must have some power to rule over the world. So we can say that this power lies with the with the speakers of the English language. Like the expansion of the British colonial power, it gives them the political power, and which peaked towards the end of the 19th century, and the emergence of the United States as leading economic power 20th century. Once they ruled the different geographies of the world, and now United States is ruling over the economic sphere of the world. So we can say it is actually this economic factor which continues to explain the world position of the English language today. Like in the past, they used to have this colonial power, and now in the present state, they have this economic power. So these are the two factors which actually gives this global status to the language. And you can say the USA has nearly 70% of all English mother tongue speakers in the world. Is nowadays it has this economic power over the world, and it has 70% speakers of English languages. So it is such dominance in its political and economic sectors, which gives this the people which the people of this English language have. So these two factors actually gives the English language a status of global language.